Valhalla. Fatburn, sorry, I will blow my nose from time to time because I'm sick. Not like seriously sick, but my nose is done. Something rode home from the kindergarten. Yeah, it's like that. So, let's pair the sensors because I'm a little bit late. Started smoking, but it should be okay. Okay, just yeah, it's that. So, 3 more minutes and we are off. This is a 2 watts per kilogram ride, nothing too serious. Just to a little burning them back. And we are 100 already. Enjoy your ride. Here we go. So, Christmas is approaching, right? Finally we are visiting some shops and such. So far we avoided them. We did not want it to be part of the Christmas craziness, which usually happens, right? So, yeah, it's better for the kids, better for us. Here we go. It's streaming. Now it's the 19th day without rest day. My target for December is to do the full month without rest day. So yeah, it's a tricky one. Valhalla Fatburn ride. Big stream, here we go. Share it to the weekend. Okay. So, 1.5 minutes and we're off to go. It's usually a very easy going ride. Fatburn ride, here we go. Music is on, everything is on. I'm finding my legs are picking up the pace. 70. And this is not adjusted like front tubular. I'm a little stagger, I know. So let's go. This time I will try to stay the bacon. So it's 45 minutes, easy riding. Then I usually stay for 15 minutes after party, just to make it 1 hour. I like to do it for 1 hour. Although yesterday the wake up ride, I did miss out on this opportunity. There was a very simple reason for that. I was still sick, first and foremost. Secondly, it was somewhat tough and my legs were tired, so I did not feel the boogie yesterday, right? Looking at that one, but this one. If you have anything in your mind, just shoot. This is an easy going ride. I can talk, no problem. And turning on the fan. Here we go. I was this morning with a higher cadence. And that's good. Okay, figuring it is then. Finally my resting heart just started to climb down. Went up from 46, 47, 56 as I was getting tired and as I was being sick. But now it's getting better. And as promised, here comes with the logs. I do hope that by Sunday it will be okay. Updraft, cool. Yeah, that's coffee. Usually for empty stomach, at least for me and for a lot of them, a lot of the others. Yeah, it should be longer for Christmas. Yeah, too many cakes, too much. I don't know, cakes too much or too many. Thank you, Geza. Yeah, I would join for Quatch Quest, but you will have a hill climb in-house race. Yeah, what range of food? Thank you, Gabor. Thank you, Laurent. We're going so far. Let's just stay with the bacon, shall we? If you have anything on your mind, just shoot in the chat. If you are right, if you are right. Actually, you can start with connecting devices. You have internet, you can skip the rest. Yeah, that's right. There's a newborn at Diego's site, house, whatever. Family. Yeah. That's right. And what if we jump on the bacon? I don't want to have a gap to get robbed. Double draft, that would be a shit show. Thank you, Anders. Then it's just Zwifting. Can't even imagine. Figure out in the meantime where's a place for the camera. Or something like that. A lot of dust. So it was what day is it? Thursday. I'm on holiday this week and I totally lost the count of the days. Of the 3 days of holiday. Again, I'm behind the bacon. Let's just catch up a little bit. Thank you, Catalan. Speeding up. Feels like it. is all the problem, yeah. Now let's just stay with Korean. In the middle of the globe. So we reached some goal. And the confetti. Hungry. I ate too late last evening. I had to eat around 6. I ate around 8. So now I'm hungry. When I eat around 6 and I can go to bed at 9, I usually wake up at 5 without, like with a stomach, like there is nothing. And for a few hours it's like that. But now I ate too late last night. Yeah, it's not optimal for me. At least not for fasting. 30,000. Bacon Road, it's like a shitload of kilometers or miles in Zwift. Really a lot. Yeah, Baker is incredible. Team Sion, I think. Yeah, sorry for the bridges and the buildings. Okay, too front, too much front, too much ahead. I mean, so this is the fence, the red one, which helps you stay together with the group. Actually, it zaps you and drops you out of the group ride if you cross it for 1 minute. Flintstone. So we're over half of the ride, yeah? It's a nice group together today. Can't keep group ride-ons while in a group ride, which is strange. A week in the Alps mountain bike. That's nice. Here's our bacon. That's FGT. Kilometers, 10,000 meters climbing. That's quite crazy, quite crazy, I think. Thank you, Imre. Sorry, Mr. Monar. so much. Get the 1 year order. I was wondering about the Everest thing, like doing it in Zwift. And there is rain. Can't escape rain even in Utopia. Yeah, the Vikings had last week a long loop, right? 11 times London loop, which means 11 times Box Hill, which is kind of crazy, I think. Thank you, Istvan. Thank you for all the love, guys, and the ride-ons. Watch the kickoff, yeah. That's one nice goal, to watch the kickoff. Let's go Vikings. Let's chop the bacon a little bit. Very end. And we are closing in. Here we go. Again, if you're anything on your mind, don't hold back. Just shoot in the chat. Thank you, Camilla. With that cold, my throat is getting okay, getting better. Now it's still not really well. My head is a little bit light, so I'm thinking to go out for a run. I was thinking, but now I'm not so sure about that. I want to do another 1 hour of something, or we'll see. Let's just jump on the bacon. Here we go with the bacon group. We have 150, 160 riders here, right? I see 107, but we were way over 100 when we started. Yeah, so much for cake talk. Thank you, Geza. Good morning, Colston, or evening for you, yeah. So good evening, you're in the USA. Welcome to the stream. Good, so you have a good night's sleep ahead of you. Saturday is behind me. I could use some more hours of sleeping. Instead I'm planning a second training, eh? Talk about addiction. Workoutaholic. But it's not a workout, I know. Okay, fat, right. 11:40. I don't even know the time when I was up 11:40. I mean, yesterday felt like the very longest day, and I went to bed around 10. I'm not a night owl, you can tell. Not at all. You into Zwift as well? Smart channel, I have a Tacx Neo first generation. Okay, if you are on a budget, then I would say Wahoo Kicker Core and Tacx Flux are both a good choice. Not as precise as the full-blown Kicker or the Neo, but still a good equipment for the money. Also, if you can purchase the new Elite trainers, I think it's the Suito. The Directo has some issues right now software side, so I would go for the Suito. It's also a nice piece of kit. If you did not decide, thank you for the ride on, and if you haven't decided so far, then visit DC Rainmaker's site. It's called DCRainmaker.com. You'll find so many info, so much, I don't know, that you will have your, it will wake up to your day to read all the information Ray collected in the past years. What bike do you ride? Road bike, mountain bike? Okay. Thank you for the feedback. Now it's up to be not that loud. So if you haven't decided so far on the trainer, visit DCRainmaker.com. You will find a lot of information about trainers, power meters, sport gadgets. That's a nice source of information. the core is a nice one. The core actually an earlier full-blown kicker, and they kept producing it, kept it in the production, and now it's cheaper and they call it kicker core. Yeah, it's quiet, it's a belt driven, it's quiet. Never buy the first generation kicker, it's loud, it's very loud. But after the second generation it's gone quiet. Tacx Neo also quiet. I have had a Tacx Flux, it's quiet too. It was easy to have conversation with my daughter or during the live stream. Never had Wahoo kickers, but I rode them on the Crank It Up event when I visited Budapest. Couldn't say but quiet, but they say it's quiet. The cyclists were louder, that's for sure. Here right now it's about to finish the 45 minutes Vikings Valhalla Fatburn ride. It's an easy ride, 2.5 kilograms, supposedly on empty stomach, so in a fasted state, to helps you utilize fat burning, so be more efficient. It's an easy ride and it's quite popular. It's usually more than 150-200 people in this ride. And in December I'm just fooling around in Zwift. I've replanned my next year after they finally introduced the dates for the races I was planning to do, and it turned out I have 3 weeks off, like that, off from training, but off from structured training. So I've decided I will do Tour of London, I will join group rides, I will do the mountain bike course, live streaming all the way, so there is that. But as of 1st of January I will have my scheduled training back on. So less group rides, more structure, and drinking coffee. Most important thing in the morning, right? Yeah, I understand. I'm a little bit backward in that regards because I usually don't go out under 10 Celsius degrees. So from around October up to April I'm not going out on bike and sometimes going out for a run. But I like to train indoors, so it's not a problem for me. I really love Zwift, hence the name. I know that feeling. I know that feeling, mate. So much to do nowadays in Zwift. It's almost impossible to do everything. In January there will be Tour de Zwift. Which is multiple routes, different routes. In December is Tour of London. Then I think after After January, the fondos will start. But it's usually fondo season during the autumn. But thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. I don't know if you already happen to run into felt times and CS-Tricks, you think, and Sisken, Shish, S-I-S-K-E-N. Felt times and Sisken are daily streamers as well, but CS-Tricks too. And there is a Danish guy, DG something, I can't recall the name. Times doing races, Sisken doing training and races. Yeah, Cam Jeffers, he became somewhat controversial this year, but yeah, that's a tricky topic. Not that tricky actually, but yeah. Look for Ash Beach, like B-E-E-C-H, I think. Ash is a quite popular person. Also, if you find on Facebook, YouTube, Mixer or Twitch Nathan Guerra, Nathan Guerra is the, I think he is the official commentator for Zwift or something like that. Welcome, Jeffers. Yeah, the rules wasn't very clear, and but anyway, Cam Jeffers ran into that punch, using End Plus simulator to gain access to the Tron bike is not an accepted solution by any means. I'm from Hungary, Central Eastern Europe. It's 10 to 7 o'clock EM. How do you like it there? You mean in Zwift or in Central Eastern Europe? In Hungary, yeah, it's good, I guess. I'm not participating in politics or religion-related discussions, so it's good. We don't have a television, we don't have and I'm not following any Hungarian news sources. Most of it owned by the government, so I think it's kind of one-sided, and I'm better off without them. We'll try to gain my insights from month to month, every once in a while, every month. I try to collect on specific topics, news on specific topics, like, okay, I don't want to go into details on politics, but let's say that I'm interested in Syria. Then I can check the local news, which is kind of one-sided, I would say, serving the local politics. Then I check the US sources. Then I check some Asian sources. So I will try to put together a picture. But one thing I learned, I'm not that old, but I'm 39 now. One thing I learned, always follow the money. The money and the influence. Because that's where the problem starts. Somebody wants more money or more influence, then that's when the shitstorm starts. And I'm not talking about sides, left or right or center or something. Yeah, money and influence. It's a shame that people are dying because of money and influence. But it was always like that, yeah? When we were on the trees, thank you Einal for the ride on. We were on the trees, still apes. Whoever had the higher branch was the boss. And we threw shit on each other. Then we climbed down and we continued that tradition. But now it seems like everybody is on level ground, so somebody had to have more bananas, bigger spears, heavier rocks, and such and such. So I think there is one movie moment which describes us in a very good way, and that's Space Odyssey 2001, when there's the two groups of monkeys fighting for the water. One of the groups discovers the power of the tool, grabbing a bone, hitting the other one. And that's what we're doing for thousands of years. And we think ourselves so sophisticated. We're still doing the same, but based on oil, based on money. We're not fighting for water right now, but we're fighting for money and influence, and it's a shame. I'm not trying to pull myself out of politics or something. I simply try to take it easy and slow. If I recognize somebody that is not willing to participate in a conversation, but just saying the same thing what the party expects him or her to say, then I'm not discussing politics with him or her. If somebody is open for conversation, then I don't care which side he or she is on. We can discuss, and that's the best way. How long have I been doing Zwift? Started in 2015, autumn, I think. So it was 4 years? Yeah, it's 4 years already. But I had a hiatus of 1 year and 1 summer. But 2019 was full Zwift for me. I don't think I felt even 1 week without Zwift. Yeah, it's quite a long time, and I'm still not level 50. Level 50 is the top at the moment. It was level 25 for years, and they raised the level cap a year ago, something like that. Well, define update. If you talk about bug fixes, yeah, every month there is something. Otherwise, it's usually, I would say, 2 big upgrade cycles per year. But it's quite experimental. At least it's getting to the point on the road where they finish experimenting with update cycles, new stuff's introduction and such, and they try to improve the general experience. They always try, but it was like in the spring you usually received a couple of cosmetic updates, big bug fixes, etc. Some new routes probably. During autumn you usually receive a new word, expansions and such. Like this autumn we've received the mountain bike beta test, we've received at the end of summer the Fuego Flats, which is a desert. Last year there was London Surrey Hills and New York introduction. So I would say so far in the past 5 years, because Zwift is out in the open for 5 years now, it was like during autumn you have a new word, new route, etc., new functions, and after that for a few months it's bug fixing, because there are new bugs as well. But the updates usually correlates with Zwifters on the northern hemisphere, because that's the biggest market for them. Okay. Thank you for the rider in the meantime. I'll go back to the beach and finish where we started. That was a good one. No problem, mate. So, for example, this winter we received Grid City like a week ago or two, which is a 2 kilometer long criterium-like course, and everyone was like, what the hell, 2 kilometers, it's a short one, no real climb, nothing. But as soon as you step into Grid City, everybody starts racing like crazy. So serves its purpose. We've received mountain bike course and steering in Zwift only on the mountain bike course, and mountain bike and gravel bikes. So that was almost entirely this year's update during autumn. Zwift running received a bit of a makeup, and they are trying to expand it, but still cycling is the main priority. Actually, it's not weird, it's fun. We can adjust the sensitivity, and the main thing, you have to have the Zwift companion app open and fixed on your bar, or on your handlebar, or stem, or whatever, wherever. And it has to be on the same Wi-Fi with the Zwift main app. And as you turn the handlebar, it's recognized by the gyroscope, tilting and such, and it's quite fun. Cornering here on the road would be tough because it's too sensitive, but on the mountain bike course it's quite fun. Of course you have to, I will show you when I stop at 38, you have to have something under your front wheel which turns, and there is a guy in Hungary started to manufacture stuff like that, and now we are all over that. We already sold 4, I think, in 2 weeks, which, considering that Zwift is a subspecies of cyclist, and Zwift steering is a fun part of Zwift. So a subspecies of subspecies, like 1% to the 1%, 4 pieces is nice. I will show you in a second, in 300 meters. That's quite a good construction. The guy works on machines, and he can buy lots of aluminium and stuff, so he creates these steering devices, because it's actually not this device which does the steering, it's your phone, but still. Okay, I just stop here. 30, 9, 8, 38. Okay, let me show you that. I have it next to my front wheel. Here we go. So, yeah, it's actually very cool. So this is the product. You can tell by, let's say, that this is my iPhone. So it's not that big, you see, it's a small one. And it has a base plate with a rubber, oops, I have to fix the glue, and a wooden plate which tilting the whole steering stuff, because if you are not tilting it, your rear axle will be very tight during steering. So if it's flat, it starts to flex in the trainer, and it's not good. So it has this rolling plate. As you see, there is a fixed plate and the rolling one rubberized, and it has like very big bearing in it, and a small one to accommodate the screw which holds it together. And the big bearing is like I don't know, it's like 2 inch in diameter, at least 2 inch, so 50 millimeters, with big balls like 5 or 6 millimeter balls. I don't know if it's that in inch, it's a 1/4 inch, I think. So it's turning very easily, and it's made from aluminium. It has 0.5 millimeter part between the two, the turning and the fixed part. So if you are really sweating, yeah, probably a little bit more than 0.5 millimeter. If you're really sweating or you pouring water on it, probably the bearing gets some water, otherwise it's not. So it's very easy. I can show you that I have a, okay, no, sorry. So I have a rubberized back of the phone, and if you check, it's turning. So even with one finger, I can turn with my phone in it. So if you put it under your front wheel, it's very easy to turn your handlebars. What was strange actually is that you are so much used on Zwift. I'm just turning off the music, sorry. So here we go. So we are used to have our front wheel fixed in Zwift, and when I first tried the steering, especially with this device, which is very easy to turn, it was like learning how to ride the bike again. Because for 4 years now, no, 3 years, sorry, 3 years now, I always had my front wheel fixed, and suddenly it turns, and I was like, oh, what's that? And so I needed at least 1 lap on the mountain bike course to get used to the steering. But I have the video here. If you give me a moment, I will search for you for the mountain bike course. I have uploaded it to YouTube. Okay, where is it? I will post the link for you in a second. Videos. I have 2 laps on the mountain bike course somewhere there. Here we go. Let's share it. Okay. Is it posted? Do you have the link? No, probably you don't. Okay, let's go from another angle. Yeah. I don't know why I don't want to copy it. It's okay. So I will go with the YouTube app. Sorry mate, just a second. Okay, so my library, my channel, on videos, and here we go. There it is. Get a shareable link. And there you go with the link. So this is the mountain bike course. It starts around 10 minutes or something like that. On Zwift, you mean? On Zwift, I've done a lot of kilometers, but I'm not counting in kilometers. I'm counting in hours, and I know it's strange for the usual aspect. You count in kilometers. If you do 10,000, 15,000, you generally have an idea how much time does it take, but and how much effort. But after I purchased the power meter in 2017, I stopped. Yeah. I stopped counting the kilometers because I'm using Zwift, and Zwift has virtual kilometers, and a lot of cyclists think that it doesn't count, and we are no longer friends. No, it's a joke. But we are actually no longer friends. And so I've started to count the hours because training load. I'm doing structured training like 90% of the time of the year, and the structured workouts like whatever endurance, VO2 max, whatever, you get the idea. Has this TSS metrics, so training stress score, which if you do 1.0 intensity factor, so maximum intensity, that equals 100 TSS per hour. So if I ride 500 hours this year, I will have 200 hours in endurance zone. I have 50 hours in VO2 max zone, so that makes more sense to me to follow. Of course, I know the kilometers, but I'm not following up with them. It makes more sense to me to count the hours spent with training, and as I'm trying to get back to multi-sport events like triathlons, half-distance triathlons next year, I should qualify the training done in hours, because I can say next year that okay, this year I did like I don't know. I can check. Let's see. I think I can check. Probably in Training Peaks I have the data. Where is it? Feeds. No, not here. Now let's try. Okay, I'm trying to find it in the meantime. So let's say that this year I do 15,000 kilometers, only cycling and a few hours of running. But what if next year I only do 12,000? Hi Pimplef, good morning. Sorry, just allowing a message. I have it turned on too. So, good morning Pimplef in the meantime. Welcome back. So, let's say that I'm doing less kilometer next year. That makes it looks like I'm doing less training, but in the meantime I've introduced running and swimming, so that makes my kilometers less, but probably I'm ramping up from 520 hours this year to 600 hours, so I'm doing more training but less kilometer. That's why I gave up on counting the kilometers on cycling. If you only do cycling, that's a metrics, yeah, but I would say it matters based on an old metrics, because earlier, few decades ago, you couldn't track heart rate, you couldn't track TSS, you couldn't track intensity factor, wattage, whatever. So yeah. I know that it's still not so popular to track the hours and the TSS and the intensity factor, because it's more complicated. If you say that you rode 15,000 kilometers, that's wow, that's great, and it's great, but still that tells only one side of the story. It's like when I say that I was at work for 40 hours this week. Yeah, I was at work, but did I do the job? How many of these hours were effective? So yeah, it's but you get the idea. Checking the hours and the TSS and the intensities, it's a more nuanced approach to training, and sometimes I'm very much overwhelmed with it. I'm not a coach or anything. I don't have a coach. I'm trying to self-coach, and I have to read a lot about stuff like this, but I like that, so that's not a problem for me, right? Anyhow, I think I'm finished for today, at least for the morning. I will see if I was planning on the run. I'm not so sure about that with that running nose. So let's see the okay, 10 Celsius degrees. I don't think I will go out with me being cold, in the cold. So probably I'll be back, yeah, sometimes during the day, probably late afternoon. It's like 8 or 9 hours from now. Pimplef already know. So I'll be back around 8 hours from now, and probably I will do some mountain biking on the course, if I don't find anything else. Let's see if there are events during today afternoon which I'm interested in. Oh, there's a no Crit City race. That's a bad idea. Actually, it's a very bad idea. Crit City race, but there are a lot of Crit City races. The thing is, I don't want to push, and if I sign up for a race in Crit City, I have to push. So, okay, I don't have to, but I will. Showa 2020 Road to Tokyo ride. That's 60 minutes. Now that looks promising. Coach Bobby Julich. Okay, now you have my attention. 3 o'clock afternoon. And a little bit later. No, that's so I'll be back. I'll be back either at 3 o'clock, because there is a Show Air 2020 Roads to Tokyo ride with Bobby Julich. It's an easy endurance ride, yeah, 2 watts per kilogram, like today morning. I should do that. Or I'll be back with the mountain bike. I will see about that. I will set the schedule for 3 o'clock. The family will visit the library, I think around 3 or 4 o'clock, so I'll be home alone, hopefully. But we will see. For a starter, I can say that I'll be back at 3 o'clock p.m. That's 4, 7, 8 o'clock from now. Until then, have fun, guys, and thank you for the chat. Appreciate it, and thank you for the follow. Take care, guys. Goodbye.